Hello, this tutorial will talk you through the exercises in your textbook, page 120, the drill and practice. They won't answer all the questions directly, but it will provide some guidance. When you first place some bubbles on the screen, you're going to notice that they are created with random sizes. If I want to inspect the bubble, I can see what size, speed, where the original X and the Y is located, and the type of rotation that it's given. If I inspect a different one, it has a different speed. I don't remember what the rotation was on the last one, but it's at a different location. And we'll try one more just to inspect. So that's a different rotation. So if I actually click run, these bubbles are going to rotate or move at a little bit different speeds and do a little bit different rotations. So they're just asking you to first open up the world, look at the default constructor, and this is actually a real good example in this particular class of default constructors versus parameterized constructors. What that means is that a default constructor is named exactly the same as a class and a parentheses with no parameters. So this first one right here is your default constructor. That's a default constructor. The other constructors have different arguments, and we should notice that back here on the screen. If I create a new bubble and I inspect it, that one's with the default constructor, but I could do new bubble and then I'm expected to enter a size, let me say 40 for example, and it creates a circle that's a little bit bigger. If I want to do new bubble with the size parameter, I'll say 400 and it will give a different radius circle. Those are called upon with the different constructors. So you can see here there are 3 different constructors. 2 of them have parameters, 1 of them does not. The one that doesn't have parameters is the default. If I take a look back here then, what does it do with the size variable when it comes in? It uses that in order to set a new image. And then in this case, they're not using size to create a color, but right here they're creating a new red, green, blue, using that to create a new color. So they set the image color and they fill the oval. Here's where the size gets used, and then they set the image, and that's what creates the circle. The speed is set randomly right here from 1 to 4. And then you have another constructor. This particular constructor brings in a size and a direction, and it sets the size for the bubble. And when it says this parentheses size, what it's actually doing, this line of code is, and I just deleted it, that was not smart, let me get it back. That particular line of code is using the previous constructor that brings in an integer. So it's calling this constructor with a size. So it calls the bubble parens int size constructor. So you have a constructor calling a constructor is basically what it's amounting to. And they did that so they didn't have to copy and paste or repeat all of this code because they wanted to set the size. The only thing that's new on this third constructor is that it's going to set a direction that is sent in. And we have our act cycle, which actually gets the circles moving across the screen. So that's an introduction to looking at the constructor and creating some of those circles.